So let's take a look at Inventor file types for a minute. Within Inventor, it's important to know the file type so that you can designate whether or not you're within a certain environment, whether you need to switch environments, or if you're opening a part file or an assembly file or any Inventor file externally, like in Windows Explorer, or searching for a file, then you know exactly what you're looking for, where you're working in at all times. The first and probably the base file type within any parametric solid modeling environment is going to be a part environment, and in Autodesk Inventor you can see that we have the part environment standards here. Now I like to do this within a slideshow so that I can show each of the different parts that you're going to see, or visual cursors that you're going to see within Inventor to denote these file types. So what you can see here is, you can see this is kind of the symbol for the Inventor file type is a little block, a single square block, and of course the .ipt designation. So your file and your file string, when you save a part file, is going to have the .ipt after it, is the single solid part. That's one solid, or even in some cases several solids, creating one part body. Okay, and what this means, and if you take a look here at this example of the model browser, you can see within the browser we have this part file. Now later on in the course, we're going to go ahead and take a look at these individual environments and how to navigate these, but just to give you an overview of the different part files and different environment styles. Moving down the line, we're going to go ahead and look at the next file type and environment that you're going to be using for the most part as a programmer, and that's going to be the assembly file. Now that is multiple parts or multiple assemblies or sub-assemblies within one part file, and that is designated by this 3-block kind of configuration, and that's the icon for assembly, and that's going to be a file type of a .iam. And you can see here in the model browser for file types that you have the 3 blocks within the model browser at the very top, and you can see you have different parts and also sub-assemblies. And what I mean by sub-assemblies is that's another assembly nested inside of an assembly. And you can see here within the picture I have a fixture plate and 2 parts fixtured within the fixture plate design. And that's going to be our assembly environment. The next environment, and also the next file type, is going to be a drawing file. Now what's important to note about a drawing file is that Inventor, and from 2016 on, is going to have the .dwg file type. However, in the past, Inventor had its own drawing file type, which was a .idw. Now the .dwg is more of a standard that's based off of an AutoCAD file, and Autodesk decided to switch to this file for Inventor and kind of have everything nested under the DWG file type. And you can tell you're in the drawing environment. Everything kind of changes within the drawing environment, including your model browser, and the types of things that are nested within the browser change quite a bit as well. But you can see that you get the icon of this DWG here, and you'll have that in the top left corner of your model environment, and you can see that you'll be creating a drawing file. Next, we're going to look at the presentation file, and a presentation file is designated by this .ipn extension. And what a presentation file is and what it's good for is things like assembling a fixture design and actually animating or creating drawings for an assembly with different steps or balloons attached to it. And you can see it's kind of similar to a assembly file, but the difference is that it's going to take each individual component, break it down within the tree, and allow you to manipulate it so that you can virtually assemble or disassemble a project file. Lastly, we're going to take a look at a file that you're not going to see a lot of icons for, but it is very important within the Autodesk Inventor world, and that is the projects file. We'll go through this a little more in depth in the My Home section of our course. But what an Inventor project file is this acts like a bookmark for each individual workspace for particular projects. This is like where you're going to save your files, and this allows Inventor to create quick shortcuts both within the My Home page but also within Windows to create a bookmark, like I said, again, just kind of a page holder so that Inventor knows where to save files or quickly retrieve files or components within your project.